Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Truth We Hide podcast. We're going to talk about something that's probably one of our favorite drinks ever. And I'm actually really excited to introduce this one because I think some of us are going to need this. I've never heard of it. I can't wait for him to share it with you. So, Tyler Ornstein of Tyler's Coffee. He actually created the world's first acid-free coffee. So just take that in. And then I want you to go look it up. But in the meantime, Tyler Ornstein, thank you so much for being on here today. Please share how this all came to be.
Thank you so much for having me. And what an amazing podcast you have. I think it's great because when you highlight things that are kind of hidden, it brings it to light. And I think that that's super important in business. A lot of people have built egos around their companies, and I've never built an ego around my company, even though my name is Tyler and my name of the product is Tyler's Coffees. I take an endorsement status on that. So each bag that is delivered to the customer has my signature on it. And essentially my signature is validating that it is the top quality. You know, I sign off on it. And I think businesses in a long run, they kind of get complacent. And when they get complacent, that's when things kind of go by the wayside. But I would say that our coffee is the world's first and only acid-free coffee. It's coffee that doesn't give you heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, smooth, no bitter bite. And I started the company at 14 years old, door to door on a bicycle. And I had this dream, and my father and I had this, desire because he loved coffee, but he couldn't drink coffee. And then, long story short, the doctor told him, because he went to the doctor because he was getting stomach issues, said, "Yeah, you have ulcers." And that's when my father said, "Well, I'm not going to not stop drinking coffee, and I want to keep drinking coffee." And so that's when he started doing his research. Fast forward, 16 years, we're now in Amazon, Walmart.com, eBay, Jet, Wish, 30 other retailers. We've got 30 retailers alone on Amazon. We're in 500 plus stores. So almost 1,000 stores. So the store count's going up, and we have an 85% retention rate on our customers. So we know we're doing something right.
That's amazing. And I think I want to know, so you had your first taste of coffee at 5 years old.
That's correct.
Was that a normal thing? Because I know for me, I had my first taste at 9.
So yeah, I mean, my dad is definitely a coffee guy. He loves drinking coffee. My mom also loves drinking coffee, and I think it was kind of just what's good for the goose is good for the gander kind of thing. I don't think that they really saw it as a negative. And the other thing is numerous studies of why coffee is good for you. And there's a lot of benefits to coffee. There's antioxidants, caffeine, there's a lot of, different chemicals that are good for the body that science has done research on. But the point is there's always this good, but why is there always a bad, right? Well, we took out the bad. We took out the tannic and lipid acids. We didn't bloom the tannic and lipid acids in the roasting process. So by not blooming the tannic and lipid acids in the roasting process, we were able to yield a neutral pH. But not only that, for people that have Crohn's, GERD, interstitial cystitis, leaky gut, Crohn's, all these different stomach modalities, they can't drink an inflammatory, which is a tannin and lipid acid. And we're the only ones that were able to create it with our proprietary Z-roasting process.
Oh my gosh. So while you were trying to come up with this magical solution for this coffee, did you hit bumps in the road where you were second guessing, where you were like, you know what, I don't know if this is going to work and I want to give up? Or were you continually motivated to make it happen?
I was extremely motivated, but it was a very interesting motivation because I was motivated by it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people in business, um, they kind of wilter. They don't have the backbone or the stamina, and that's how businesses go out of business. Where if you look at Steve Jobs, you know, you look at Bezos, he's the richest man in the world, and he didn't make money for the first 10 years. So at one point you have to definitely say, okay, is this going to be a worthwhile endeavor? But during your expansion phase, or your, looking for success phase, I don't know what you would call it, but you come across this kind of, am I going to succeed mindset? And it really boils down to your customers. Are your customers happy with you? Are your customers wanting you to succeed? Or are you just trying to force something on the American public or the world that you're on board with, but everyone else isn't? And there's a lot of companies out there that have failed because they didn't have the drive to figuring out why their customer base wasn't driving with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get political on your show, but I want to say that the reason why I think there is a differentiation between both parties is one party talks about the negative and the other party talks about the positive, and how it can be such a most beautiful and fantastic and wonderful and exciting. And I think that party has gained a lot of forward momentum because people want to be associated with winning, not losing.
Right. Right. So at the age of 14, you're going around your neighborhood and you're selling this coffee. Did you ever come across a grumpy customer who was like, "No, I don't believe in this stuff"?
Oh
Or,
yeah.
and how
Oh
did you
yeah.
take that?
Well, that was fuel for the fire of success. Now, I mean, if you sell a product where they go, God, it's the most disgusting tasting coffee I've ever had in my life. How dare you even try to sell this? Take that into consideration. Figure out why your product is not doing good. But if someone just is like a naysayer and says, "Oh, you'll never succeed. Oh, you'll never win. Oh, that's a stupid idea." Thank you. I'll take that into consideration, and I'll use it as fuel for my fire for success.
I love that at that age you still had that positive mindset that you were going to make this happen, because not many of us could say that. I'm sure at 14, I don't even remember what I was doing at 14, but I wasn't doing this. And I know that once I got frustrated, I wanted to give up. There were
Right.
many times.
Well,
So,
giving up is the easiest thing in the world to do. And actually, I was also a swimmer in high school.
mm,
And I think swimming really brought a lot to the table for me.
mhm.
Um, it was, my coach was very, very strong on us. And I have to say that tough love sometimes is needed.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, it seems like you had incredible role models, though. Your parents, your dad, wanting to, or he was working behind the scenes to create this. So he had that motivation that seems like it was instilled into you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I think there's a lot of tough love with my father, and we've had a very interesting dynamic and a
Yeah,
very interesting life journey, I guess is the best way to say it.
right.
Um, him and I have not always seen eye to eye, but that's fine. You
Yeah.
don't have to always see eye to eye with your parent. You don't have to see eye to eye with your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you know, the only person that's going to be successful is you.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't make success in a package. And okay, here's a very, very good way of thinking about it. Success is like going to the gym. No one can do it for you.
Yeah.
You have to do it yourself. I
Right.
mean, if I want to get in shape, I can't tell my girlfriend, "Hey, sweetheart, get in shape for me." You know, she'd be
Right.
like, "Are you high?" Like, I don't understand the question.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think what I love telling other people is to go after what sets your soul on fire. If that's what you want to do, then keep going after it. Remember your why. Remember, that you have that passion for it, and it seemed like this is what you wanted, and you were going to make it happen, no matter if there were good days, if there were bad days. You just had to keep being fueled by other people's negativity to say, you know what, thanks, but I'm gonna keep going, or I could maybe I'll change it up a little bit. But you took that constructive criticism or the bad juju and you made it happen anyway. So I think it's incredible, and I think that's what's so important to tell other people is you might fail, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of falling forward. So,
Hmm.
um, Tyler's Coffee is always falling forward. We always have a problem that we have to fix. There's
Hmm.
never like a day at Tyler's Coffees where it runs smooth. It's like, oh, we're low on inventory. You need to order this inventory. Oh, where's our checks? We need to get our checks in. Oh, do we have payroll? What is going on with payroll? Oh, we need to get more sales. Oh, a store fell off. Why did that store fall off? We have to call them up. We have to figure out the solution to the problem. So, I mean, there's always it's a never ending uh, workload, but it's also very rewarding in the standpoint that I think that there's a lot of potential.
I love
There's a
that.
lot of potential in business, and if you just keep working it, then the potential rear its beautiful head, not ugly head. I mean, we all work, all us entrepreneurs, we all work for a driven factor, and that is success.
Right. No, I love that. So you're 30 years old, you own this huge coffee company now that's changed the world, really changed a lot of people's
Yeah,
mindset.
I got a kick out of it because there was acid free coffee, and then there was coffee, and then about 4.5 years ago, low acid showed up, and I was like, huh, what is this? Well, come to find out, they're knockoffs. We're the original.
Oh, wow.
And so every coffee industry and every coffee company in the industry has decided to make a light roast or a blonde roast or some sort of, not so bitter, not so acidic. And that, to be honest, was stemmed from me because I was the first.
Wow. Well, that's certainly something to be very proud of. So that's amazing, and I know I'm really interested in trying it now. I haven't had issues, but I want to try it because,
It's good. You'll like
yeah,
it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend then if you drink this acid-free coffee? Do you recommend still putting creamer in it? Does it how does that affect?
No, no, you don't have to.
Okay.
No, you don't have to.
Uh,
The good news is you can put a little bit of, it's funny. A customer told me this. This wasn't my idea. Customer told me that they put a little bit of honey
oh
in their
yes.
coffee.
Yes.
I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I'm open for new and exciting ideas. And I was really impressed. So now I put like a dab of honey in my coffee, only when I want it to like give it a little bit of sweet flavor. But no, I mean, I mean, let's talk about the dairy situation right now. Right, people are waking up in their life for a lot of reasons. They're having a lot of wake up calls because of COVID.
Yeah.
People are seeing the true light and the true dark, and one of them is health, and one of them is. And I strongly suggest anyone that's listening, um, go off dairy for a month and see how you feel. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I really enjoy not having milk anymore. I like soy milk. I like coconut milk. I like whey. Not whey. I use whey protein, but rice milk.
They're actually pretty good because I've tried it too. I've even tried oat milk. So there's so many other options out there that it's very surprising, and they're actually really good. So before any of you guys go, ew, that sounds gross, try it.
Right.
Cause
try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But dairy has been found to cause a huge amount of inflammation.
Yes.
And bloating.
I have heard that. Well, that's really interesting. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with this then?
I tell my staff every day, I say, the more coffee we sell, the better off we're all. So I don't really have, when people say, where do you, we want to get into Sprouts. We want to get into Whole Foods. We've been working on them for a long time. And we thought 2020 was going to be the initiative of getting into those two locations, but COVID happened and we really lost a lot of ground with retail. Now, on Amazon side, we skyrocketed where we now have 30 people selling our coffee. So 30 different retailers selling our coffee on Amazon.
That's awesome.
And the list just keeps going. And I think to myself, I go, well, they sign a MAP policy, which is a minimum advertised price. They can't go below this or else they're going to get blackballed by us and by Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a contract. And I think to myself, I'm like, how can 30 people still not have created saturation on this platform with this product? And it's true, they haven't. All 30 people keep ordering, and they keep ordering more and more. So it's amazing how online has gone up. I mean, I would say it's gone up 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Absolutely. It really has. But I love this story, and I love what you've done because I've never heard of it, and now I'm just absolutely intrigued, and I'm so proud of what you built at such a young age, because a lot of us probably still didn't know what we wanted to do at the age of 30. So you went with it, you went for it, and it's really amazing. So you have.
Well, you sound young. How old are you? Okay.
But yes, I am young.
Older.
Darn it. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number. Actually, my metabolic rate age is 26.
So yes, no, and it's never too late to start. What is a piece of advice you would give to a new entrepreneur who is just afraid of starting because they're so used to being in that safe space of a corporate job or a 9 to 5? What would you tell someone who wants to say,
Well, that's what I tell people all the time, and it's actually counterintuitive to like all those self-help books and everything, is if you don't want to take the ultimate, plunge and jump in both feet into the deep end and learn how to swim, or my analogy is go to the highest mountain and jump off of it and assemble an airplane on the way down. It's not for you. Entrepreneurialism is not for everyone. And I really can't stress that enough. And anyone that tells you, oh yeah, you can do it, but yet your heart and your soul and your interest and your drive and your values are back into your office and your cushion job with your 401k and you got benefits and yeah, then that's not really it's not really
Right.
for everyone. It's not really for everyone. I would say if you're ready to jump in both feet, um, well, first and foremost, you have to build a conceptual product, right? So you have hard and soft products. And what I mean by that is like software or websites or whatever is a soft product. Hard product is like, coffee. Uh, and so you have to figure out what you want to do. And then after you figure out what you want to do, you have to figure out if the market will bear it. Then after you figure out if the market will bear it, then you have to figure out if you're actually going to move
Yeah.
forward with it. And you have to test market. And that test market has to go well. And you have to make sure that the test market does go well. And I mean, it's like, the best, I don't have children, but it's like the best way of saying it's like having a child. You got to be attentive of
Yes.
that child.
Absolutely. No, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that advice because I know with me, I was an accidental entrepreneur. I did not plan this, and it was hard, but it's my drive, it's my passion, my heart's in it, and no matter what happens, I just got to keep showing up.
Yeah.
But no, it's not.
Well, what I get a kick out of
Oh, no, go
is
ahead. Go
sorry, I
ahead.
interrupted you. Keep going. What I get a kick out of is before COVID, I would travel around and I'd speak and all that fun stuff, and people would come up to me like, "I have this great idea, but I need the money." And I go, "Why do you need the money?" Well, I need to build this, and I need to get marketing. I didn't start my
Yeah.
company on money. The only time a business should take money, only time the only time business should take money is to fund a PO.
Oh. Mm.
If you don't have the money to fund a PO, take the money.
Yeah,
Other than that, why are you going into debt
that's
for an
true.
idea?
That's true.
Oh, well, I want to buy marketing dollars. Well, why don't you do everything guerrilla? Why don't you start building everything out with Facebook and with Twitter and with, TikTok and, oh, well, then I have to promote and boost my posts. No,
Right.
you don't. If your product stays now, does Tyler's Coffees? Uh, I won't tell you something I don't do, but does Tyler's Coffees have a marketing budget and use it? Yes, of course we do. But we have a very, 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 very steady and
Yeah.
strong business, and we have a very, very steady and strong user base. And the only thing we're using the money for is to gather more people who don't know
Right.
about us. But in the interim, in the starting aspect of your company, I didn't spend a single dollar on marketing. I posted it and I told my friends and family to repost it and share it.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that is the organic way of building your product or getting it out there and just getting the support system, because you don't have to pay for all those Facebook ads or all those
Right.
things that people tell you, oh yeah, I can help you reach your growth by doing this or doing that.
Oh yeah, the guy that gets out of his Lamborghini and then walks into his like mansion and then goes, "You could have all
Yeah.
this." Well, guess what? It's
Yeah.
rented.
Yep. Nobody told you that, did they?
No.
No, absolutely. So keep going after your dreams, everybody. It can happen. Did you have I'm gonna ask you one last question. Did you have a quote coach or mentor to talk you through some of this, or did you just learn on your own?
Um, I read
Okay.
books. I read a
Hmm.
lot of books. I don't read
Hmm.
anymore. I know that sounds weird. I listen to
Okay.
books.
Yeah. Okay.
So this was before Audible. This was before Scribe. I mean, this is before a lot of the, the audiobook companies. And I think that's a great market because people don't have the time anymore to just sit and read. But no, I read a lot of books. I actually read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, one of the best books I've ever read.
Oh, okay.
And it explained a lot. It explained how you run a deal.
Right.
You know, people will leave money on the table because they don't know how to negotiate.
Yeah.
Why is negotiation considered a bad word in America right now? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, there's a lot to think about, but so much. Probably could talk about this for hours, but where can people go find your coffee? I know you mentioned Amazon, Walmart. Just Google it and it'll come up, right?
Yeah, and then also for the end of the year, we're doing Tyler 2020. You get 20% off your order.
Oh, wonderful. Is that on any site or specific?
TylersCoffees.com.
Okay.
Yeah, TylerSCoffees.com. So Tyler's plural, coffees plural.com. Use code Tyler 2020, all lowercase, to get 20% off.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Tyler, so much for being on here and for creating this coffee for many of us to finally enjoy without having to feel like we have to give it up. It'll never happen.
I really appreciate it tremendously.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I will put this on the show notes, you guys, so you can take advantage of this coffee and where to find it and where to find him. And don't forget to look at the podcast guide. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being on here, and I look forward to trying your coffee. You too.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening to the Truths We Hide podcast, created and founded by your host, Annette, the founder of A Wild Ride Call Life. Also, a big thank you to all of our sponsors for each and every episode that is aired. We have so much support from them and all of our listeners. You can find more information at www.awildridecalllife.com.